In chapter 14, The Thief, Harry wakes up in the woods, and he doesn't really know where he is. And he feels Ron's feet by him, and then he kind of looks around to see where he is. He sees Hermione as well, who is bent over Ron, and they see that Ron has been injured. Like he's covered. Ron's covered in blood, and Harry's wondering why they're not at Grimmauld Place. And then Hermione explains that they kind of like double apparated. So they went to Grimmauld Place, and Yaxley was actually holding on to them. So he actually went there with him or with them. And at that point, Hermione hit him with a spell to make him let go. And then they went to the woods, and this Hermione would later reveal that this area was where they had the Quidditch World Cup. So somewhere secluded that she wouldn't think anyone would be able to find them. And obviously, Harry was like, okay. But Ron was the big thing, and so Hermione told him to get something out of the knapsack that she had to try to heal to heal Ron, and so this is able to help temporarily. But Ron had passed out, and at this point, Hermione was saying it was her fault. Obviously, Harry was like, "No, it's not your fault. It was more my fault, just because obviously Harry didn't want Hermione to feel bad about the situation." Also, Harry is conscious of the fact that he's the one who took the eye out of the door, which probably alerted the people that there was intruders in the ministry. And so Ron woke up, and they asked how he is. He's doing okay. They also examined the locket and passed around back and forth to each other. And then Ron mentioned that, like, do you feel it? And then Harry also was kind of holding on to it, and he kind of felt like maybe there was some life in the locket. So like it's not a small heartbeat kind of. And then Hermione immediately went to go put on a protective charm around the area they were. They got the tent out, and Ron, as they were about to start talking about Voldemort, Ron adamantly said, "Do not say that name." And this was kind of a shock to Harry and Hermione, because why is Ron saying don't say the name Voldemort? And he was like, no, just don't say the name. He said, give you know who some respect. And at this point, Harry was like, respect. Harry was about to go in on Ron just at that point, but Hermione stopped that immediately and was like, nah, don't even go there. Obviously, Ron is hurt, and he doesn't know what he's talking about right now. So let's not even go there. And so they didn't really have any food as well, because they didn't get the chance to go back to Grimmauld Place and get some food from Creature. They didn't really have a chance to do anything, so just had the supplies that Hermione had, which luckily she had the tent at least. And so they were kind of passing the Horcrux around a little bit. Harry ended up putting it around his neck, and they were just gonna have to try to figure out ways to open it. They couldn't. They all tried to open it manually. They couldn't do that, and so they're trying to go figure out place to open it. So they didn't have much food, and they had to eat some mushrooms that Hermione had found. They took turns keeping watch, and they're obviously not gonna travel or go back to Grimmauld Place, or even call Creature back, because they don't know if Creature is being held at Grimmauld Place, because Yaxley, they kind of guessed that Yaxley would probably have the the ability to get into Grimmauld Place now, because he had gotten to the point where now that anyone, I guess at that point, is kind of the secret keeper, so he could at that point bring anyone into the house that he wants to. So the house is pretty much compromised, so they can't go back there. So they got to figure out what they're going to do next. And then at that same point, Harry's scars started hurting, because they were talking about Voldemort. And so he kind of went into another dream vision while he was on watch. And in this dream, it was Voldemort, and he was questioning Gregorovitch. And he could feel himself as Voldemort. He was like holding Gregorovitch in the air, asking him, "Where is it? Where is it?" Harry did not know what this thing was that he was talking about. He was assuming it was a wand, but it was not. It was some like small item. And then he said a thief took it, and he looked into like Voldemort looked into Gorevich's mind, so he saw what Voldemort was seeing in his mind, and it was some like he said handsome blonde-haired kid that he had seen before. Harry recognized this boy, and but he didn't know where from. It was like, I've seen you before, but I don't know where. And at that point, obviously Voldemort did kill Gregorevich, and so he was looking for the thing, and he was saying someone took it, a thief took it out of my and jumped out a window. So now Voldemort is looking for this person, and Harry is trying to figure out where he remembers this person from. And then Hermione woke him up from that and was obviously, yelling at him about his occupancy or lack of there. And he didn't want to get into that, so he just went inside and let Hermione take watch. And so he was talking to Ron as Ron was still in bed, and they were trying to figure out maybe why Voldemort is looking for this item, and maybe he might be trying to like split his soul again even farther into this item, or whatever this item is and what importance it could be. And they went to sleep.